December is officially here. Do you guys hear that? I hear a black swan event. Exactly, because we called it to perfection. Japan, Japan, Japan. The cherry blossoms will soon appear. Not yet. I think we go through darkness first. Hello everyone, hope you guys are having an amazing day. XRP's around $1.99, huh? Is it that time? I personally feel like we're about to fall off a cliff. A flash crash of sorts. We'll see. But we called it, as well as the Riddlers. And then we're going to be tying in Japan because it seems like the markets are about to blow up. But let us deep dive first. And foremost, now guys, we're from part of XRP in the XRP community. Now this is quite interesting. So, Mr. Poole on December 2nd tweeted about blood, right? It seems to me like there's blood in the streets here. Okay? When there is, you should probably be buying. Bloody markets, right? David Schwartz said it's going to be a rough ride on December 4th. Is this a delta? Most definitely, guys. Is this how December will start off like, right? Rough waters, right? Volatile waters, guys. Sure seems like it to me, but I think towards the end of December, it'll be more green, right? We're starting off December with red, Christmas colors, and then green towards the end. Okay, it's just my 2 cents here, but this is where things get spicy and interesting because Japan has entered the scene. From Gold Telegraph, Japan government bond yields are, right now, this is getting pretty remarkable to watch unravel. Okay, enjoy the circus, Bank of Japan, because it sure seems like there's a circus going about as of right now with Japan. Now, Mr. Poole and the Riddlers, more specifically, Mr. Poole has always warned us of Japan, right? The red ball. When Japan triggers, every other domino falls down, guys, right? Faster, and fastest. He literally says Japan right here in plain sight for everyone to see, but most won't recognize the call, right? Japan right there in the background. Liquidity issues. Something's happening here, right? So this is obviously tying into Japan, right? And the implosion that's about to take place because Japan 20-year government bond yield jumps 5.5 basis points to 2.88%, marking the highest level since June 1999, right? So this thing is just basically skyrocketing, guys. As we see right here, this is the Japanese 10-year yield, okay? V-shaped recovery out of there. It's hitting 2006, 2008 levels. Okay, so we know that something is broken behind the hood, guys. And it all has to do with Japan. How many times have we seen Japan? Okay, a bunch of times. So Japan is about to implode, which will probably make the markets fall. We were the only people to call a black swan event, as I mentioned down here. I literally mentioned it right here 2 days ago, guys. XRP Black Swan imminent. Black Swan, I feel it in my bones, right? Usually my intuition is correct. And my intuition says right now, we're about to fall off a cliff. Okay? It hasn't even begun. Well, it's only beginning. From Arthur Hayes. Bitcoin dumped because Bank of Japan put December rate hike in play. USD Japan 155, 160 makes Bank of Japan hawkish. So he's showing a chart here of Bitcoin and USD versus JPY, which is USD, the dollar, versus the Japanese yen. So I have it right here, guys, in plain sight, and let us investigate what this truly means, right? So, okay, here's the Japanese yen versus the US dollar on the left chart. The right chart shows Bitcoin, which is XRP. It doesn't matter which chart it may be. What matters is this. I spy with my little eye a bullish divergence forming on the higher time frames, on all these higher time frames, on the Japanese yen versus the US dollar. Okay, RSI lower than this pivot, right? But the price is above that pivot. You guys see that? That's a bullish divergence formed on the higher time frames, which means this thing is about to go up like that. Okay, but here's the catch though. What happens when the yen rises against the dollar. This is what happens, I believe, okay? Now, I'm not an expert in currencies, but I believe when the yen becomes stronger, guys, versus the dollar, well, that's an issue, because it's probably, or what probably will happen is a yen, the unwinding of the yen carry trade. So investors go to Japan, right, borrow yen, cheap yen. Then they sell that currency, convert it to USD. Why? Because there are higher yielding assets, such as Bitcoin, right? They may invest that into Bitcoin, who knows, precious metals, right? Because they're on the rise and all this other stuff. Then, if the yen supposedly rises, okay, well, the investors are forced to repay the loans, right? Because the yen is getting stronger against the dollar, guys, right? So that's an issue. So the investors sell Bitcoin or the stocks or assets or whatever asset they have invested the yen into, right? Convert it into USD. They sell that asset. They convert their USD back into yen, and then they have to repay the loan, right? So there's like a forced event that's happening right here. It's called the black swan events, guys. Okay, so that's what I think is happening here. Now, I may have gotten the example wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's along those lines. Okay. So what happens when the yen rises against the dollar here? Okay, so what happens is, it happened 2 times before, right? A bunch of times, but let's just say these 2 areas. Let's just focus on these 2 areas, okay? Which Mr. Poole has said to watch out for Japan. Now, scenario number 1 happened on July 24th here, 24. Okay, July 2024. What happened then was, as we can see, when the yen started to rise, okay, against the dollar, what happened to Bitcoin? This Bitcoin chart, okay? So Bitcoin actually popped up, right? Bitcoin actually popped up, and then it flash crashed down when Japan, the yen made its final move higher. Okay, so scenario number 1 is when the yen goes higher against the dollar, Bitcoin should pop up. Scenario number 2 is a little bit different though, because the yen in January of 2025, right? That's when every market's died. It started to rise. What happened to Bitcoin here, right? That was a top out period. Again, a short-term top. You guys see that? It topped out. It just kept flash crashing down. So which scenario are we at right now? I don't know the different dynamics that were at play within these 2 different scenarios. The RSI, on the other hand, maybe we could tell by the RSI. The RSI here, interesting. I'm not quite sure which scenario will play out, but I do know the markets are about to short-term bottom quite soon. Okay, no matter what black swan event occurs, the short-term bottom, I think, happens when XRP hits $1.40 or around that region, guys. Okay, so those are just my opinions, and that's what's happening right now. So I think we will flash crash in due time. I think the short-term bottom, the short-term bottom marks or occurs in the coming days. Not yet, not today, not tomorrow, but probably end of this week towards next week. Okay, that's when the short-term bottom probably is set, and then we go higher from then, right, towards Christmas, green times, and all that stuff. So for now, we're probably gonna jump off a cliff, and then that's when you want to buy. Okay, so perfect scenario, everything's playing out. That's how we've seen it to come. That's how we thought it was gonna happen anyway. From Esoteric King. Another reason, this is a ritual at play as well. Fact check true. Why? 322 Ethiopian calendar tomorrow. Okay, so what happened here is 12th one, December 1st today is 322 on the Ethiopian calendar. December 1st converts to 322, which is Skull and Bones, right? Death. So that's how they're playing it about, guys, right? Death is commencing today. Now, by the way, we talked about this Japanese yen issue, I think back in September, which we mentioned to watch out for end of October, because there's a Bank of Japan meeting then, but I don't know if they talked about this stuff or this type of issue. They probably did, but didn't have a huge effect, right? Because the yen wasn't rising at that time probably, and but now it's like the card is being forced to play. Japan has always been mentioned, okay, from Mr. Poole to Bearbugan123 to Trump literally landing in Japan a month ago or so. So yeah, so the primary target here is the Japanese bond yields, right, spiking This led to a Nikkei decline, which is a Japanese stock market, with spillover effects into Asian crypto trading. Right, so the expected Bank of Japan rate hikes also have an effect on the yen carry trades as it becomes more expensive to borrow money. This results in a sell-off for risk assets like cryptocurrencies. Exactly, right? So this is what we must watch out for, guys, because it seems like Japan is a trigger here, right? It hasn't happened since literally 2008, right? Which, oh, another funny thing is we actually mentioned this as well. I told you guys the black swan will occur when silver starts to rise, right? Because that's like a safe haven asset, right? Investors are fleeing from different assets into more of a safety hedge, right? More of a safety net. So, yeah. This is why this whole scenario playing out is dangerous for U.S. markets. Japan is one of the largest foreign holders of U.S. treasuries. Rising Japanese yields make domestic bonds more attractive, right? Meaning money can flow out of U.S. debt back into Japan. That forces U.S. to offer even higher rates to compete, which stresses stocks, banks, credit markets, and every other levered corner of America's financial system. This is like a storm, right? I told you guys we're in the height of the storm. What's funny is, there's something moving, and that's the Japanese bonds. Well, nothing happens until something moves, and something is definitely moving, which means something happens soon. So, Lead Lag report says, maybe I will. Why don't you mention XRP, right? This person right here is ultra bullish on the scenario playing out. The Japanese yen trade unwinding, okay? And he mentions XRP here. So that's fascinating because XRP is the solution to all of this, guys, right? It's gold, silver, and XRP, the cherry on top. Okay? So tonight, from Ted Pillows, Jerome Powell will deliver a speech today at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is happening when the Japanese bond market is cracking. Pay close attention to this. Exactly, guys. Another funny indicator that I just seen is Michael Saylor strategy buys 130 Bitcoin worth $11.7 million. What is that? 130? It comes out to 13. Okay, very important. Usually this is an unlucky number. Okay, but 11.7 here comes out to what? 11.9 on a different calendar, right? 7 comes out to 9. 9, 11, 13. You guys see this? Bitcoin's demise literally posted by Michael Saylor and how much they bought. Very odd. So that's all for today, folks. I'll prepare because I think another dump is coming, a harsh one, but buy if you can and then let them reverse it higher. Now, financial advice. What is this? See ya.